If you listen to audiobooks only, you're not a real reader. If you enjoy smut, you're not a real reader. If you haven't read these big 3 classic literature books, you're not a real reader. Judgy readers. Why? Why are we excluding people from the space? We should be encouraging more people to read. Now more people are getting into reading and you want to shame them? Does that make any sense? I don't like judgy readers. And I love it when people are able to give their unsolicited book opinions without anybody judging them or attacking them or making them feel lesser than. I hate the pretentious readers the most. You don't have to force yourself to read a classical book to be considered a real reader. The rant is over, I promise. Okay, let's get into the actual video. If you guys don't know who I am, my name is Amina, but I also go by Bliss. That's my pen name because I'm an author, or a writer because I'm not published yet. I go by Bliss sometimes, hence the name of this channel, but just call me Amina. You don't have to call me Bliss. That's just fun and games. That's like an inside joke between me and the people who are still following me from Wattpad because those are the days. I like to talk about books and life and wellness, self-care, everything. I'm just a teenage girl in my 20s trying to figure out life, and I'm documenting myself while I do so. In terms of today's video, I just wanted to take a break from book talk because I feel like we're not being fully honest on there. I feel like a lot of people are scared to say what they really feel on book talk because of the backlash. I don't know how I came across the Reddit thread, but I did, and it's filled with people's book talk confessions. Not even book talk confessions, they're book confessions, okay? Because everybody has little traits and things they do that are not very normal when it comes to reading, and someone went on Reddit and said, hey, just drop your craziest book confession, like the most unhinged book confessions you have, and the responses. You're a judgmental reader, get out. I don't want to hear it. I don't want anyone in the comments talking about, oh, that's disgusting. Oh, why would you do that? We're just here to react and laugh and giggle and relate. That's it. This is what the original poster said. Whenever I decide to DNF a book, before I DNF, I usually search my Kindle for related words. Sometimes I end up skimming through the entire book, only looking for the spicy sections and delighting in the way I don't understand the plot surrounding the scenes. To be honest, that's a decent one. I don't feel like that's an uncommon thing. I'm not saying I do it, but I feel like it's not uncommon. I don't like when smut is overdone in books because it's like, it takes away from it. I'm thinking of certain authors who do this, okay? Like they rely on smut to keep people reading. Like they'll literally market their book as like very spicy, and then that's all the book has to offer. I really want them to fall in love for their attributes and personalities, and like the desire is there, but it's like underlying, like it's not the whole point of their like connection, so that when they fall in love and then they do it, it's like, oh my god, like the anticipation was building up to it and then boom, it happens. That's like, those are my thoughts on smut, okay? I think it's good in books when it's like done deliberately, and it's not just when it's thrown in there because readers love it, you know? Like, I hope that made sense.
Stop it. Get some help.
You really could just like search up those words and then just have a whole scene, and then you don't know what the hell, you don't know the context, you don't know nothing. You just know these two are banging and that's it. You know what? Fair enough. I DNF like 80% of romance books because I only like slow burns, and as soon as they admit they have feelings for each other, I get bored. I do this. I don't DNF, but I do get bored. Let's pretend this autobiography is an enemies to lovers book, right? I want this much enemies and then this much lovers. Can we have that? Enemies, lovers. That's the perfect ratio. I don't care what anyone says. I feel like all of the angst, all of the tension, all of the build, like that's the best part of it, right? And then when they're lovers, it's like we got to the finish line. I'm not saying they have to hate each other for the whole enemies portion. I'm saying that like them falling in love and confessing their feelings for each other should come really, really close to the end, because after that, everything's out in the open. I don't really care after that. But at this point, we can have like hatred, we can have companionship, we can have flirting, we can have all of that, and then the confession at the end when they say I love you too. Okay, cool. And then we wrap up the plot and done. That's the perfect ratio. I agree with that confession. I might as well have written that myself, but I will not DNF because of that. I think it takes a lot for me to DNF a book. I DNF'd a book recently. I put it on my Instagram. I'm not even gonna say what book it was unless you want to know. I think the author was trying too hard to prove that these characters were black, if that makes sense. If you don't know what ACS is, it's African Caribbean Society. It's a society that's in most universities in the UK so that black people feel included. You know, black people feel like they have a space to go to within their universities. So yeah, the main character was a member of ACS. There was a boy who was part of ACS who was like basically playing with the hearts of the other girls. I literally read 3 chapters, okay? 3 chapters, and I DNF'd it because they mentioned Tupac, they mentioned Biggie, they mentioned Fenty Beauty / Rihanna, they mentioned Beyonce, they mentioned Megan Thee Stallion, all within the first 2 or 3 chapters. It signaled to me what the rest of the book was going to be like, and I wasn't here for it. And I think the main reason why I found it annoying, I feel like this whole video is just me ranting. I don't like that in general, like pop culture references, but this one was more like black culture, pop culture, whatever. Sprinkling it in is fine. Bombarding me with it, I'm overwhelmed, I'm irritated, I'm annoyed. But that's just a personal preference. Yeah, I DNF'd the book for that exact reason. I completely skip over descriptions of places, houses, exteriors and interior landscapes, etc. It just doesn't add anything for me. Also, sometimes if I'm getting impatient, I'll skip to the dialogue. I do that too. I feel like there's a way that some authors describe like exteriors, interiors, landscapes, buildings. Like, I feel like there's a way that certain authors do it that makes you read it. But if they describe it in like a dry, boring way, you're gonna skip it. That's what I've noticed, my habit wise. Like, sometimes those descriptions are interesting if they do it right, but sometimes if they're just like, yeah, the house is brown on the outside and they have like some cobblestone and there's some like grass, like, you're gonna skip it. Come on. I skip over the overly romantic speeches, proposals and grand gestures at the end. Once someone starts with the name, since the day we met, I'm out. Oh, that's brutal. I feel like starting off with since the day we met is a bit corny. I'm probably in the minority, but a lot of the times I skip over the smut. I don't know how to write this without sounding like an ass. I don't care for a strong female lead. That isn't to say I don't like strong female leads. I just don't want it written out for me every 5 minutes. As long as she isn't a doormat, I'm totally fine. The constant reminder that she has ambitions other than a man being repeatedly bashed into me really puts me off. A strong female lead can still be silly, goofy, might not know how to fight, is boy crazy, etc. Maybe it's because I feel like there's so much emphasis on how focused she is with her goals and ambitions and how love isn't that important to her. It makes me feel like the romance isn't fulfilling. There's layers to this. My first thought when I read that confession was Barbie. Growing up, Barbie, to me, even though there was that part of me was like, I wish I had a Barbie doll that looked like me. As a kid, I think all black girls can relate to that. But Barbie in general, like the movies, the messaging, everything, I love the fact that Ken was just there. He was never the center of whatever the hell she was doing in the movie. He was always like an addition, but never like the sole focus. And I think that, to me, was amazing. And I never saw the love interest as the goal in movies and books, TV shows. Like, it's just a great little additional benefit. That's why romance is great as a subplot, because it's like, yeah, love that extra little flair of romance, but that's not the whole purpose. The female lead is never selfish. She's always self-sacrificing. Think about Elena in Vampire Diaries. Like, she just wants to die for everybody. Where's the space for us girls that want to save ourselves? Have you guys noticed that as well? Maybe it would be interesting to see a lead that's like goofy, boy crazy. Like, it would be interesting to see a female lead that's like the complete opposite of what we've seen over and over again. I'm saying this more out of like curiosity as well for how it would be written. If you're somebody writing a book right now or thinking of writing a book, I implore you, maybe explore the idea of your female character being the opposite of the ordinary. I can't relate to that. I would never think to write this confession, but like, based off of what they're saying, it would be interesting. My camera died, but I'm back. I was just saying that this confession is very valid, but more than anything, I think if somebody wrote a book and they had a female character that was exactly like she's saying, so basically boy crazy, silly, goofy, all that stuff, people say that they want like a different female character to what we normally get, but I feel like people would hate her. I feel like people would hate her because she would be too relatable in a way that you don't like, you know? But that's just my opinion. I don't think people would like that character. Like, if they read about her, they would be like, oh, she would be like in top 10 most hated female leads, and everybody'd be like, she's so annoying. But she's the opposite of what you guys are used to. So I have DNF'd over the overuse of the term pussy flutter because all I could think about was labia lips flapping like curtains. Confession, I love cheating romances. I love books where I hate the main male character. Like, why are you cheating on her? No good reason, just an asshole. Even better if the female main character is a cheater. Even better if both options are good candidates and there is no solid good versus bad guy. love them. I'm so ashamed. Authors who do this right are the best, okay? I hate it when it's like, this is a good character, this is the bad character. This is a love triangle, he's the bad option, he's the good option. No, I want it to be gray. Scandal does this really well. Well, they did it really well until they ruined Jake Ballard's character. But they did it really well with Olivia Fitz and Jake, because I won't lie to you, I think it's valid no matter what team you're on. Jake is perfect for her. Fitz, she's in love with him. They're in love with each other. It's a bit difficult to pick. Me personally, I'm team Jake Ballard. I do not think the president is good enough for her. I think he's a man-child. That's my personal opinion. But I love the fact that people can argue about this so openly, because there genuinely is a gray area. I like that in books and movies. I like it when there is no right or wrong answer. I love it when characters are nuanced, okay? They make bad decisions. I love when the female lead can be a bitch sometimes. I love when she makes the wrong decision and hurts other people and has to make up for it. I don't like it when she's the angel who always makes the right decision. You know what I mean? Like, ugh, guys, the lighting is really annoying me. Like, this just... I want gray characters. I want more nuance. I think this confessor has hit the nail on the head. Like, we love when things are a bit messier than just black and white, you know? The whole cheating part though. This confession says, I don't read any romances where the main male character is described as anything less than perfect, to me at least. I also actively seek out romances that depict codependent, overly affectionate relationships. I mentally subtract ratings from a book if it doesn't end in marriage. For me, marriage feels like I'm assured the relationship in the book will last their lifetime. And if it doesn't end in marriage, I feel like the main male character isn't serious enough. Ridiculous, I know. I love and adore virgin male what? Sorry, that threw me off. I love and adore virgin female main characters and actively seek out books where the female main character is virgin. I don't know. I feel like this confession got like, it started off as like fair enough, then it got to oh, and then it got to whoa. Why does she have to be a virgin? I feel like I want to talk to this person. What does that do for you? I mentally subtract ratings from a book if it doesn't end in marriage. Oh, I think this person's really traditional. Really traditional. I mean, the whole thing of like, if it doesn't end in marriage, I feel like the guy isn't serious enough. That's not ridiculous. I would feel like that in real life. Maybe not in books, but in real life I would be like, yeah, you're not serious if this doesn't end in marriage. But in books, I'm kind of like, I think I just assume they'll get married. I don't think they need to give a ring in the book for me to believe that they'll be together forever. I just imagine what I want. I love novels that end in pregnancy, and I like some pregnancy novels, but not all. I loathe when they're not realistic. I also like historical fiction / costume / settings. I think Hetty Feather, being my favorite book series as a kid, is the reason why I love historical fiction now. And if you have any book recommendations along those lines, drop them in the comments. Thank you. Anyway, back to the confession. I really like it. I really like when they get a child together. What's the problem? I think maybe just because Gen Z hates babies. I'm joking, we don't hate babies, but I feel like Gen Z is very scared of pregnancy. I don't mind pregnancy in books. I hear it. I've learned a lot of Korean recently. Remember when I said in my last video that I've been obsessed with that K-pop group ATEEZ?
어? 저기 엄청 큰 꽃게가 있는데? 어디?
I've been watching a lot of their interviews and a lot of their like YouTube videos on their own channel because honestly they're very funny. I have a personal confession. I don't like it when let's say like the guy and the girl are having like troubles in the relationship in the book, and for some reason she's talking to either his friend, his mother, his whatever. He messed up and she's like struggling to forgive him. Let's say he did something really bad, and she's talking to his friend or parent or whatever, and they say, you make him a better person, or he's been so much better since he's been with you, or he's been such a better person, like he doesn't look at anyone the way he looks at you. Like that really irritates me. It just feels so manipulative. She'll say like, oh, he like slapped me across the face, and the mom will be like, but you make him a better person. Like, well, it's not all about him. What about me? I'm thinking of the after movies right now. Harden would do the most diabolical shit to her, but for some reason the only people she'd surround herself with are people that are in his life, that love him, his family, that are really biased towards him. Of course they're gonna defend him. Of course they're gonna tell you to be with him. Of course they're gonna be like, oh yeah, but you make him better. They don't care about you at the sounds of it. They care about him. I don't like that. I don't like it when the female lead surrounds herself with his community and all they do is defend him, almost like negate his bad behavior because they want them together because it's good for him and they like her for him, rather than having any concern about the way he treats her, you know? Anyway, yeah, that's my confession. I seem to be incapable of finishing series. I haven't finished Dawn of Glass, Crescent City, Zodiac Academy, Ruthless Boys of the Zodiac, and so on. I just get so bored towards the end and switch to a brand new series I'll drop before the last book and repeat. I think I'm starting to do the same thing. From Blood and Ash, that's like one of the first fantasy series that I started. I have not finished it. I have not read the last 2 books. The Shadowhunter series, I have not read the last book. It's on my shelf, it's there. Like, you know how they made it a TV show on the CW? I watched that, so I kind of know how it ends, unless the book ends differently. Fourth Wing, I tried to read Onyx Storm, DNF'd it. I could not finish it. I don't know if I'll go back to it or not, but I really struggled. I talked about it on TikTok already, I'm not gonna go into it again, but to summarize, it just felt so complicated and so all over the place for no reason compared to the first 2 books. So I can relate to this confession. I do not think I'm finding it easy to finish series now, and I don't know what the problem is. Like the Bar U series, I've not finished that either. Wow, guys, I'm like realizing in real time that I don't think I can finish book series. No. The only book series that I have finished confidently was Shatter Me, because I was just obsessed with those characters. I know Shatter Me has like a lot of like people loving it and people like saying it's like overrated and stuff. I loved it solely because of how much I loved the characters. I love Kenji, I love Nazira, I love Aaron Warner, I love Juliet. The characters, like, to me just feel like my people. So I did not waste a moment in finishing that book. I don't know if that's me or the books, because I just get bored. Like, it's boring towards the end. I don't know what happens. Maybe they run out of juice. This is more of a pet peeve, but it gets on my nerves when readers/authors label a book grumpy/sunshine just for the sake of it, and when I get to it, the man is just a recluse or quiet. And it's not just because I love Grumpy Sunshine, so I get disappointed. It's mainly because it's portraying the book in a completely different light. You can have a grumpy main character, and just because the other person isn't, that doesn't make them Sunshine, and vice versa. There are several moods between Grumpy and Sunshine, not only those 2. Yeah, I think a lot of people mislabel Trope. They'll say enemies to lovers, and really they're just mildly dislike each other. It's not even enemies. I don't think people understand what enemies actually means. Enemies to lovers, I think, should be reserved for fantasy books, because to be real enemies, you need to be at war with each other. You need to actively hate each other for valid reasons. Maybe his dad killed your mom, or maybe he killed your parents, something like that. That's enemies to lovers. It's not you both work in the same office space and he took the last sugar cube and you're irritated at him for it for like a month, and then suddenly you start dating and boom, like you're fine. Like, no, that's not enemies to lovers. We should start saying rivals to lovers as well, or just strangers to lovers. Enemies to lovers does not count if they don't want to kill each other at some point. I think people mislabel a lot of tropes, not even just Grumpy and Sunshine. Have you guys read that book on Wattpad called Lila? I think Lila is Grumpy Sunshine. If you've read it, you know what I mean. Like, I think off the top of my head, that's the closest thing I can think of as Grumpy and Sunshine. I keep reading billionaire romances in the hopes of finding a female main character who not only rejects his money, but successfully avoids ever getting it. It's an extremely specific want for which there's virtually no market except me. What usually happens is he will do something. Let's say he'll like offend her. Then he'll realize what he's done, hunt her down and say, listen, I'm sorry for the way I acted. Here's money, like, to apologize. And she'll be like, you think money is gonna make this better? I'm not taking your money. And meanwhile, she's working 6 jobs just to like feed her dying grandma, and she rejects his £1 million. Do you know how selfish that is? Like, imagine you're the dying grandma and you overhear this. My camera just went off because it was overheating. Anyway, like I was just saying, I would think my granddaughter's an idiot, okay? And she is an idiot, because take the money. You don't have to accept his apology. Just take the money. If he can throw money around like that, then he doesn't need it, and you could use it to, you know, pay your bills and figure out your life. And you know what it is? She'll reject the money, but then somehow she'll end up getting the money anyway. So it's like, ugh. I think that's what this poster is talking about. They don't like the fact that she gets the money in the end. They want her to never get the money. In my head, I don't want her to reject it at all. I want her to take the money and stop being proud. I want to read a book where the billionaire offers the girl money and she takes it without blinking. Okay guys, I'm gonna wrap up the video here. These were gold. These were gold. See how easy it is to just have an opinion and move on with your life? Nobody's getting hurt in the process of people liking to read smut more than anything else in the world. But yeah, this was a lot of fun. I like this. You guys have any crazy book talk confessions of your own? Drop them in the comments. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll be back again with another video very soon. I said a couple videos ago that I wanted to post monthly. That was my goal. Now I'm starting to get a bit more used to posting monthly, so I might be posting maybe twice a month. We'll see. See you guys later.